Hello and welcome to day 4 of your 14-day challenge. Today's practice will be a strong and slow flow. Let's get started. Begin in child's pose. Take your knees about mat distance apart, sit back slowly, and let your arms stretch forward as you rest your forehead down. Let your body relax a little more and begin to take slow, deep breaths. As you begin to feel the edges soften, let your body become a little bit more relaxed and comfortable in the pose. And let your breath begin to get more full and expansive within your lungs. Keeping that breath going, move yourself forward onto hands and knees and come into downward facing dog from there. Take some time to move and get comfortable in your downward dog. If you're feeling stiffness in your body, just let yourself gradually move so you're eventually starting to warm up that stiffness and just to loosen up your muscles. As you're adding movement, let yourself breathe fully. From downward dog, bring yourself to high plank. You might need to step your feet a little further back, shift your shoulders forward, engage your abdominals in, lengthen your chest forward. Take a breath in and exhale back to downward dog. With your next inhale, glide forward to plank. Exhale, downward dog. Inhale, forward to plank. Exhale, downward dog. Do that once more. Inhale, plank. And exhale, downward dog. From downward dog, take small steps up to the top end of your mat until you arrive in a forward fold near the top. Relax your knees, relax your neck and shoulders, and it might feel nice to bring in some movement, so you can add in any movement that you like. Then slowly start to bring yourself up to standing. As you come all the way up to the top, stand tall. Take a couple of breaths here. As you inhale, reach all the way up overhead. And as you exhale, slowly fold forward. Inhale, come up to a flat back. Exhale, return to the forward fold. Now, as your fingertips land at the top of the mat, just leave your right foot where it is and step your left toes all the way back into a lunge, and you can lower that left knee to the ground. Bring your torso all the way up, rest your hands onto your front thigh, and make sure to create some distance between your belly button and your thigh. So we're keeping the abdominals toned in. Then you can move into the lunge from your hips. You're opening up more space on the front side of this left hip. We want to get those hip flexor muscles to lengthen. As you're doing this lunge, you can activate your left glutes to help open up and relax those hip flexors. To add a little more to that left side, reach your left arm up, lengthen, still keeping belly button in, and side bend to the right. As you side bend, let your breath go downward toward your belly and out into the sides of your rib cage. And you can especially focus on that left side as you're breathing. From there, come back to center. Let your hands come down onto the mat. Now you may want to bring blocks underneath your hands. From the kneeling lunge position, draw your hips back. You can walk your hands or your blocks back just far enough to roll back onto your right heel. And then as you inhale, you're going to go back to the lunge. So walk your hands forward, bend your knee. You can let your chest lift a little. And then exhale, walk back into the hamstring stretch, maybe bowing slightly forward. Inhale back to the lunge. We're going to do that twice more. Exhale, draw back. Inhale forward to the lunge. And once more. Exhale back. And inhale forward. From here, tuck your back toes and raise your back knee off of the ground and adjust your feet into a really strong lunge position. Once your legs feel grounded, then slowly bring your torso all the way up to high lunge. Engage strength upward into your hip joints as you push down into the floor with your feet. Then send your arms up. Hold the strength of the pose, but keep your breath flowing. For this next transition, bring your hands to hips. This is what I like to call like a power move. So from your lunge, bend into your back knee a little bit, let your body weight tip forward, and you're gonna push off of those left toes to step all the way forward into your right leg and bring your left leg up to about hip height. So you'll be going toward warrior three. Now you're really gonna maximize leg strength here. So you're pressing into both of your feet, both of your legs. Roll your left hip slightly downward, but still engage those legs. All right, now slowly stand upright. Bring your left knee up in front of you and cross your left ankle to your right thigh. So your legs are gonna form a figure four shape. You can start to sit back into that right leg. So you're bending your standing leg as you sit back. And just challenge your hips to sit back a little bit more. You might find that your chest is getting closer to your shin, which is fine. You can even place your hands in front of you onto the shin. Just keep that effort and strength work in your right leg. All right, from here, stand all the way up and release down your left foot and just give that a couple of breaths. Then inhale, reach your arms up. And exhale, fold forward. Inhale, take a half lift. And exhale, fold forward. So this time we'll leave the left foot at the top, step your right toes all the way back, and lower your back knee down into the lunge. Bring your torso up, your hands onto your front thigh. You can create some good distance between your belly button and your leg. And keeping that distance so your spine and your pelvis is more upright, then you can start to lean into the lunge from your hips. So we're working on those right hip flexors on this side. To add a little more to that right side, raise your right arm, lengthen up, and side bend toward the left. Get your breath moving and still maintain that distance between your belly button and your front thigh, just so that you're keeping yourself in that upright or neutral position while you go into the side bend. Bring yourself back upright, lower down your hands, maybe placing blocks underneath. From the lunge position, we're gonna exhale back, rolling onto the left heel, adding a little hamstring stretch. Now this is just for a breath. And then inhale forward into the lunge. Exhale back. Inhale forward. Exhale, hips back, maybe bowing a little forward. Inhale, lunge. Exhale, back. Inhale, forward. From here, tuck your back toes under and raise your back knee. Adjust your feet into a nice strong lunge position. And as you work through your legs, slowly bring your torso up and raise your arms up. Find the strength of the pose, but the flow and consistency of your breath. You can bring your hands to hips. We'll go into our power move from lunge into your warrior three. Lengthen a bit forward, bending from your back knee. Press off of those right toes to step into your left leg. Slowly raise the right leg up toward hip height. Roll the right hip down slightly so you're feeling more level in the hips, and engage both legs super strong. Begin to stand all the way up. As you do, bring your right knee up in front of you and cross your right ankle onto your left thigh. Begin to sit back into that left leg just a little bit at a time, working the strength of your standing leg, but you're also getting a little bit of stretch in the right hip and your right glutes. You can feel free to lean further forward just to change or intensify the sensation. And bring yourself all the way up and release your right leg, and just give that a couple of breaths. Then inhale, stretch your arms overhead, and exhale, fold forward. Inhale to a half lift, and exhale to fold. And just like we did before, leave your right foot at the top and step your left toes back. This time we're gonna keep the back knee lifted, so you're in your lunge with the fingertips down. You might place a block underneath your left hand here, and as you keep your legs strong, turn your chest toward the right, reach your right arm up toward the ceiling and twist. Take those slow, steady breaths. Exhale your right hand down. You may use blocks for this next combination. From the lunge position, stay up on your back toes and just start to straighten your front leg to the extent it will go comfortably. Now you could be propped further up on your fingertips for this, or you could be a little more bowed forward to really work into those right hamstrings. Now we're gonna add some movement. So we're gonna go from this pyramid shape back to the twist. As you inhale, bend your front knee. Leave your left hand there, sweep your right arm up, twist to the right. And then exhale back to the pyramid, maybe bowing forward. Okay, try that again, bend your knee. Inhale, twist to the right, right arm up. Exhale to the pyramid. Inhale, bend your knee, twist to the right, reaching up. Exhale, pyramid. Let's try that once more. Bend your knee, inhale, twist. And exhale, pyramid. Keeping both hands down, bend into your front knee and adjust your back foot to set up for warrior two. As you ground into both legs, bring your torso up, stretch your arms out away from your body, and adjust your feet if needed to come into a really solid warrior two stance. You might be feeling some heat in that front leg from those last few poses, but just give this a few more breaths. All right, from warrior two, relax your leg, relax your arms, pivot your right toes in so you're facing toward the left edge of your mat. Bring your hands onto your hips, soften up your knee joints, and fold forward. Your hands can go onto your mat or onto a block, and it may feel really nice to bring some movement into this forward fold. So maybe you're bending into one knee at a time and just allowing your weight to shift from right to left. Keep your neck and shoulders relaxed. And feel free to continue moving or to settle into the forward fold for a few more breaths. Inhale to lengthen. Turn back toward the top of your mat and just walk your hands around to the top. Then bring your right hand to the inside of your right leg and walk your right foot a little wider toward the edge of the mat so you're in lizard position. In lizard position, let your hips lunge, but activate your legs by drawing them up into the hip socket. So it kind of feels like you're pulling your thigh bones into your hip joint. Now you might bring a block or two underneath your hands to add a little height to this, or you can be on your fingertips or your palms. Take a few more breaths here. Lower your back knee down onto the floor. And bring your right hand over to your right leg, turning your chest toward the right, adding a twist. Option to bend your back knee and reach your right hand back for your foot. You can either hold the foot or reach toward it. release your foot, turning back to center. Bring your hands really close together so that you're able to step this left foot forward. And what we're gonna do is step that left foot up and around the left pinky finger. This will put your feet a little wider than your hips. You can turn your feet out slightly and lower down into malasana, or into your squat. You might bring a block underneath your tailbone to bring you up a little bit and to give you more support in the squat. Join your palms together, hug inward with your legs, and lengthen your spine. From the squat, bring yourself into a forward fold. Let your legs stretch out and walk your feet back to normal. Inhale to a half lift and exhale to fold. Leave your left foot at the top, step your right toes back so you come into that lunge position. To add the twist, you might bring a block under your right hand. Legs stay strong, turn your chest toward the left and stretch your left arm toward the ceiling. From the twist, exhale your left hand down. You might be using 2 blocks for this next one. We're gonna go into that pyramid shape. So you're just staying where you are, but lift a little higher on the back toes and start to straighten out your front leg to a comfortable amount. And you can choose to bow forward, or you can choose to be a little more propped up. With your inhale, you're gonna go back to the twist. So bend that front knee, open your left arm up and twist. And then exhale to pyramid. Okay, again, inhale to twist, bend your knee, left arm up. And exhale to pyramid. Inhale to twist. And exhale to pyramid. Do one more of those. Inhale to twist. And exhale to pyramid. Come back into that lunge position. You can keep both hands down, and we're setting up for warrior 2. Turn your back toes outward toward the right. Ground down into both legs and bring your torso up. Extend your arms parallel to the ground and energize legs and arms. From warrior 2, relax your front leg and your arms, turn your left foot in. You're facing now toward the right. And to set up for your forward fold, you can have your hands on your hips to start. As you hinge forward, option to bring your hands down toward your ankles. You can hold onto your feet or loop your 2 fingers around your big toes. Keep your knees softened and just let your neck and shoulders relax. From here, release your grip, bring your hands out onto the mat in front of you and walk your hands around to the top, pivoting around to face forward. Bring your left hand to the inside of your left leg and walk your left foot a little wider, and you might bring in some blocks here under your hands. In your lizard lunge, you can let the hips lunge but squeeze inward so you're activating strength while you move into your range of motion. Lower your back knee down. Take your left hand over onto your left leg and add a twist. And then option to bend your back knee, and you can reach back with your left hand toward the foot. You can take hold of it if it's in reach, or engage your left hamstrings or your right hamstrings to hold there, and you could just reach back toward your foot. Release that, turning back toward the front end of the mat. Now this time, draw your hips slightly back and just sweep this left leg all the way back behind you and bring yourself to downward facing dog. It may feel nice in downward dog to add movement, just like we did earlier, or you might linger in the pose for a few breaths in stillness. Keeping your arms strong, raise up your right leg into three-legged dog, keeping both legs strong and engaged. Bend your right knee and curl your right knee forward. Shift your weight forward into your palms. Bring yourself a bit more forward like plank. Slowly inhale your leg up toward the ceiling, going back to three-legged dog. And then bring the knee forward. Exhale, shifting forward. Inhale, lift the leg up. This time we'll bring it through. Exhale the knee forward, lift your hips a bit, step your right foot up to the top end of the mat. Let's return to warrior two. Turn your left toes to face the left. Bring yourself all the way up and stretch out your arms. Keeping your legs grounded in warrior two, lower your left hand onto your back leg, stretch your right arm up and over into a little side bend. Lift out of your lower back and keep your legs really strong. Then as you come back through center, straighten your front leg, reach forward with your right side and bring your right hand to your right shin or to your right thigh or onto a block. As you set up for Trikonasana, engage both legs and reach up through your left fingertips. Looking down, rebend your front knee and return to warrior two. Bring your hands all the way around onto the mat and pivot onto the ball of your back foot. You might use blocks underneath your hands. Step your back toes a little bit closer. Place your hands or blocks just slightly forward and bring your weight into that front leg and into your hands. Raise your left leg up toward the ceiling as high as it will comfortably go. Bow forward. We're just going to take one really full breath here. And then hover your left foot beside your right foot. Hover that foot maybe an inch off of the floor and start to do some little circles with your left leg. After you've done some little circles, do some big circles, taking your leg out to the side and just exploring your range of motion. Go in the other direction, little circles. Bigger circles. Fold forward, release your left foot down, relax your neck and shoulders. And inhale to a half lift, stretching your spine forward. And exhale to fold. Place your palms down onto the mat. Step back into downward dog from here. Take a few breaths, whether you're adding movement or being more still in the pose. In downward dog, lift your left leg. As you lift into three-legged dog, engage both legs strong. Then bend your left knee and curl it forward, shifting your weight forward into your hands. Inhale, slowly raise the leg. And exhale, knee forward, shifting forward. Inhale, slowly raise the leg. And exhale, let's bring it through. Step all the way up to the top and come into your warrior two. Bring yourself up into warrior two. Take some time to get grounded down into your feet, into your legs. Then lower your right hand onto your back leg and stretch your left arm up and over, lengthening out your sides, lengthening out of your lower back, and still grounding into your feet, just like you would in warrior two. Bring yourself back through to center. Straighten your front leg and reach forward with your left side. And then bring your left hand to your left shin or your thigh or to your block. Raise your right arm toward the ceiling. Looking downward, bend into your front leg. Bring yourself all the way up into warrior two. And then take your hands around to the mat. Pivot onto the ball of your back foot. Option to add in some blocks here underneath your hands. Step your back foot a little closer and bring your hands or your blocks a little bit forward. And then you can shift your weight forward. Pop that right leg up in the air for one full breath. And then bring your right foot to a hover beside your left foot. Do some small circles with your right leg. Do some bigger circles, taking it all the way out to the right. And then go in the other direction, little circles. So you're really working into your left leg, especially the outer hip, the outer glute muscles. Do some bigger circles. Okay, and release your foot down. Let's fold forward. Inhale to a half lift. And exhale to fold forward. From your forward fold position, bend your knees a little bit more here and just very slowly bring yourself up to standing. As you come to standing, shift your weight over into your right leg. You can start with your hands to hips and bring your left knee up in front of you. Hold that nice and strong, and you can use your left hand to take hold of the knee. Or if you want to experiment with the balance, you can take your two fingers around your big toe. Once you've hooked around the big toe, you're working on coming more upright. And then you can start to gradually extend forward with your left leg. Now you might notice that I'm using my big toe to hook around the fingers. It actually really helps to keep the grip, and it allows you to concentrate a little bit more on that standing leg. Slowly bend the knee, releasing your grip, and lower your foot down. Let's try that balance on the other side. Shift your weight into your left foot, and as you stand strong, bring up your right knee, and then you can take your hand to your knee, or maybe experiment with looping your two fingers around your toe, and then start to bring your torso more upright, and then you might begin to extend forward. It's very helpful to pick one spot to look at, especially if it's something that's not moving, and just fix your gaze there while you're balancing. It helps you balance a little bit more easily, but also just keeps you more focused. Release down your foot slowly. Stand into both legs, just take a breath or two. Inhale, stretch both arms up over your head. Exhale, fold forward. Inhale, half lift. Exhale and fold. Placing both palms down, step back into downward facing dog. From your downward dog, lower your knees down onto the mat. Walk your knees a bit more forward and just swing your legs around so you come to seated. Lie all the way onto your back from here. And with your knees bent, place your feet onto the floor about hip distance apart and some good space between your hips and your heels. This will enable you to set up a really strong bridge pose. And we're really gonna work from the back side of the legs. So as you drive your feet down into the floor, squeeze your glutes to lift your hips up. Think about squeezing your glutes into the back side of your pelvis, and that helps to open up the hip flexors on the front side. Press down strong through your feet. And as you hold here, just breathe. Lower your hips to the mat and relax into a comfortable position. You might open your knees to the sides. You might straighten your legs out. Set yourself back up in your bridge position, and we're just gonna add a little more to it this time. Starting from the beginning, press through your feet, engage your glutes, lift your hips. Now keep that strong, but bring all of your weight into your right foot. Bring your left knee up toward the ceiling and press through your right leg. So the right leg's gonna be keeping your hips up. To make this a little bit more spicy, lower your hips to a hover, and then inhale, press up. Try two more. Lower to a hover. Inhale, press up. And one more. Lower to a hover. Inhale, press all the way up. Release your left foot. Shift all of your weight into that left leg. And bring your right knee up toward the ceiling. Stay here or lower to a hover. Inhale, press up. Lower to a hover. Inhale, press up. One more, lower to a hover. Inhale, press up. And release your feet. Release all the way down. Rest into a comfortable position. This time, as you bend your knees, place your feet on the mat, but walk your feet out a bit wider than your hips. Let your knees rotate inward toward each other. An option to bring your arms overhead into a cactus position. Then you can rotate your knees from right to left. Go at your own pace. This is just an opportunity to move and rotate your hips. The next time that your knees twist over to the right, let them go all the way over. Hold here, or you can hook your right ankle onto your left thigh and just add a little gentle pressure. Activate your glutes to help open the front side of that left hip. Release down your right foot, come back through center and rotate your knees to the left. Option to hook your left foot onto your right thigh, add a little glute activation, and just work into the front side of that right hip. Come back through center. Walk your feet back in and curl your knees to your chest. You might roll around here on your back a few times, just giving those lower back muscles a massage. And then as you lower your feet back down, cross your right leg over your left, so you're in a thread the needle position. You're just hooking your ankle across the thigh. You can leave your left foot on the floor or bring the legs toward you and thread your arms through, interlacing your fingers to hold on to your left leg. Now this gives you lots of control with the hip stretch, so you can play around with the angle that you put your legs at, or you can even add a little gentle movement to see if you can pinpoint the stretch to exactly where you need to feel it today. Keeping your ankle crossed, lower your left foot and wrap your right leg over more tightly. Lift and shift your hips a little bit to the right and twist your knees over to the left. Slowly open your right arm out to the right. If you find it uncomfortable to twist with your legs crossed, you can uncross your legs and stack your knees on top of each other instead. Slowly twist back to center, unwinding your legs. Then hook your left ankle to your right thigh for thread the needle. Option to bring the legs closer to you and thread your arms through. And remember, you can play around with the angle and a little movement if that allows you to pinpoint where you need to feel the stretch. Keeping your ankle crossed, lower your right foot and wrap your left leg over more tightly. Lift and shift your hips to the left and twist your knees to the right. And you can open your left arm to the left. And again, if the cross-legged twist doesn't feel good, you can change it up to stacked. Bring your twist back to center, unwind your legs, and stretch all the way out into shavasana. Get yourself nice and comfortable on your mat, and we'll take a little time just to relax. Start to bring some movement back. And eventually stretch your arms all the way over your head. Bend into both of your knees, bringing your feet onto the mat, and just slowly roll onto one side. From here, bring yourself all the way up to a seated position. Thank you so much for practicing with me today. I hope this practice leaves you feeling relaxed and grounded, and I'll see you tomorrow. Namaste.